Hi, welcome to day 29 of 60 Days of Inspiration with Kathleen Gonzalez. And we are studying Living the Sacred Yes, Affirmations for Action by the Reverend Deborah L. Johnson. And today's reading is A Life in Alignment. My inner knowledge is wiser than my cognitive comprehension. I pray for the clarity to understand what I already know inside. My conscious awareness is infused with a sense of the sacred. My every act reflects reverence and spiritual intention. I allow Spirit to organize my day according to what is important. I release myself from self-imposed demands. I free myself from the tyranny of my own timetables. I yield my plans to God's priorities. My steps are guided and ordered. I give thanks for the freedom to not exercise my own will. Thank you, God, for a life in alignment with you. This one is hard for me. My inner knowledge is wiser than my cognitive comprehension. And I think that's the piece that takes the faith of knowing that. And we were talking yesterday about getting clarity in meditation, and that's really where my clarity comes. I pray for the clarity to understand what I already know inside. My conscious awareness is infused with a sense of the sacred. My every act reflects reverence and spiritual intention. And I think that's where I think my conscious awareness is infused with a sense of the sacred. Because when things are wrong, out there, I can see that the sacred is not being honored. The sacred in me or the sacred in someone else is not being honored. I feel that. I can tell that. My every act reflects reverence and spiritual intention a lot of the time. I wouldn't say all of the time, but I've gotten good at questioning myself and saying, is this ego or not? Is this ego or is this spirit? And if it's ego, a lot of times I'll stop and rethink. But sometimes I forget to ask that question. I allow Spirit to organize my day according to what is important. That part, I don't know how good I am at that part. Sometimes if I don't organize my day, I feel like the day kind of just evaporates. So, but if I do recognize opportunities in the day, and if I do kind of be my highest spiritual self in certain situations, I can see how the day turns out better. And I especially get that, when it's so much easier to do when I'm in a session with my clients, because that's when I really feel connected to Spirit, and that's when some amazing things can happen. And so in those sessions, I do that. If I'm doing it like when I'm, walking the dog, or if I'm doing that while I'm taking out the trash, I'm not as sure. I release myself from self-imposed demands. I free myself from the tyranny of my own timetables. And this is where it gets in conflict with so many of the self-help guru, smart goals people, because that's where they're telling us, to be strict and set your goals and all that. And I know if I don't set goals, I don't always make the progress I want to make. But what this says is that my steps are guided and ordered, and I give thanks for the freedom not to exercise my own will. Thank you, God, for a life in alignment with you. So if I choose to not judge myself on whether or not I'm making the progress I feel like I should make according to my goal, but I turn my eye inward to my inner knowing and do what I know to do, from there, it should work out okay. Or even better. So that's the challenge, is to live in alignment with our inner knowing. And if we're good at that, maybe we can make our goals in alignment with our inner knowing. And so maybe there's no conflict there. So what are you doing today that's in alignment with your inner knowing? See you tomorrow.